This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. Our community, we meet once a week on Tuesday for people in the US, and it's Wednesday in the middle of the day for the other people in the world, like Australians. We get together to learn more about health and wellness and how to help ourselves heal and be happier. So this is a community. Feel free to get to know everyone here. So we have several presenters. We just take turns. Tonight happens to be Debbie Wescott, and Debbie is from Arizona. And she and I have been friends for over a decade, and we have learned and grown together and learned a lot about health and wellness and healing on the energetic level, which is spirit and emotional, mental, and of course on the physical level. So I don't want to, take too much time and tell everyone what Debbie's going to say anyways. So I'm going to just let Debbie take it from here. But yeah, you are in for a treat, you guys. So thank you so much, Debbie.
Thank you, Jade. This is so fun. I'm so glad to be here with everyone again and to share this very important topic of raising your vibration. If you can do me a favor, if you are on Zoom, and you have background noise, if you'll just mute your computer, and that'll be really helpful for all of us that are on here. So thanks so much. Anyway, tonight we're going to be talking about raising your vibration, and many of us are really aware of practices and tools to raise our vibration. But even as I was studying and preparing for this presentation, it was like remembering again all the ways and tools and reasons why we want to raise our vibration. So it was just such a good reminder for me. And I think I gained some new understandings even. And that showed me that it's important to review these things over and over and over again to help us kind of maintain a higher vibration, to help us achieve more peace and purpose and power, and to live more joyful lives. So let's get started. So what is a vibration? A vibration is a state of being. It's the atmosphere or the energetic quality of a person, place, or thing. I see I have a typo there. Oh, well. We feel or we read vibes intuitively, like when you walk into a room or someone walks into the room and you can feel the energy in the room shift positively or negatively. That is that vibe that you're feeling, that energetic resonance. Our own vibe can also influence how we perceive or receive the energetic broadcasts from people or things around us. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Repeat that sentence again.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so the last sentence, the last thing I said was our own vibe can influence how we perceive or receive the energetic broadcasts of people and things around us. So how we see the world affects our own energy and how our receptiveness of what's happening around us. Okay, so we're going to keep going. If you guys hang on just a second.
Jade, when she gets back, can you ask her if we're supposed to see her screens changing? Because I think she might have already showed screen 2, but I still see them listed on the side, and I see screen 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, Debbie, do you want to hit the play button on your PowerPoint presentation there?
There you go. Now I can. Thank you.
Hey, Debbie, unmute yourself.
Sorry, everyone. Okay, I'm going to share again and we'll see if this works better. Can everyone see that?
Yes. Yep.
Slide 2. This is slide 2. What is vibration?
Yep, got it.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is the slide I just talked about that had, you know, the explanations of what is a vibration. Everyone's there following me? Okay, I'm going to advance the slide. Let's see if that works. Are we here? Everything in the universe? Okay, I'm going to keep going. So everything in the universe is made up of molecules vibrating at different speeds. So trees, rocks, animals, buildings, furniture, everything holds a vibration. And human vibrations are composed of physical matter, and even the sound of our voice and the energy of our thoughts hold vibrations. So all molecules or matter vibrate either faster or slower, higher or lower. And slower vibrations, things that vibrate slower, like a piece of furniture, it's more dense and it's more visible. And things that vibrate faster are less dense and require us to be more like tuned in to the frequency of it so that we can practice discernment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Lower vibration is said to be less true. Okay, it might be distorted, it might be heavy, dense, darker, and have kind of a limited energy around it. So if we think of a lower vibration, it could be confusion, okay? Confusion or sadness or depression. And if you can understand that feeling, it's kind of like not being able to see a solution or see a way out. So that would be, not a way out necessarily, but a way up. And that feels very limiting. When we have a higher vibration, we're experiencing more truth. It's pure, lighter, more ethereal, brighter, and expansive. And it was interesting when I looked up the word, like the word ethereal just kind of came to me when I was creating this, because I thought, what is the opposite of dense? And when I looked at this, the word ethereal, it's like ether real. So we think of this idea of ether, which is spiritual and sometimes not easily seen, at least on our plane and our realm right now, but it still exists. It's real. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So has anyone seen this chart before, this emotional frequency chart?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really love this chart. This was way back when Jade and I began to learn more about these things. This was one of the first things that I found that was like one of those really profound things. That's like, what? You can measure emotion. You can measure the energy of emotion. And it kind of shows us where we, our emotional home, like Jade talked about last week. And it can be in an expanded state or in a contracted state. And the higher we go in vibration, the more expansive we feel, think, believe, act. And the lower our vibration, the more limited, restricted, maybe even forced or controlled and contracted we feel. And I really like this chart over to the side. This is the first time I've really seen this chart, but it has that category of power, and then below it, that category of force. And it makes me think about the world that we live in right now. There are some groups that are trying to create this oneness in the world, but they do it by force. And then there's another energy that is trying to create oneness in the world, but they're doing it by empowering people and helping people find more joy, peace, and collaboration and community. And so this chart really just shows us that if we can reside in these higher vibrations, then we are part of that group that is in the power and positivity movement or energy of bringing people together. So where do you think you reside on this scale? So just think about that for yourself. And maybe what are some of the things that happen when you're in a high vibrational state versus a low vibrational state? And this couple minutes is open for you to share some of your experiences with this. If you've really seen an experience and kind of like it's been written on your heart, the experiences that you've had, I'd love to hear about them.
So, Debbie, when you're in enlightenment, and I know I've talked to a few of my friends because we're not always there. It'd be great if we're always there, but we're humans. So when we're there, though, everything feels like it flows, and things are easier. You're more at peace. You have a very low tolerance for drama. So when drama comes along, you're like, you're not going to jump in and participate. You see it for exactly what it is. It's a lack of love, a lack of self-acceptance, lack of divine light. That's all it is. So you don't participate in it. But when you're in an enlightened state, you're more observant, I feel, and you just have more light and wisdom that's like beyond you, and that's because you're connected to the divine, and you feel that great peace no matter what's happening. It could be something that would make people panic, but you would say, hey, we'll get over this is going to be fine. You have that inner peace. Yeah. Sierra, you have something?
Yeah, I have moments where I'm like everything from courage and above. I'm just like, yes, I'm floating and everything is so great. And I have these moments where I'm just like, I've made it. Like, this is how life is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And something happens and you can literally feel, it's not just your mood changing. It truly is like your whole vibration that is changing your mood, your attitude, your allowance to let yourself get angry, or like I physically feel a physical change in my body when I get like angry or emotional or whatever. So I like the higher vibration feelings when I'm just more at peace, honestly, when I've reached that state, and I'm still working on it because I'm not happy with how easily I still allow that to change just by something somebody said that, like pushed a button in me. I don't want to have any more buttons. I want to throw those out the window and be done with them. So
yeah, just say thank you buttons.
Yep, yeah. Thank you.
Feedback, got it.
Your time.
Yep. Cancel that.
Yes. No longer bring me joy.
Yeah. And then people say that you glow, you have more light too, right?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, Ashley. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I feel that too. I feel that too, Sierra. Like just the other day, something happened and I just was like, I had like all the feelings, like I just had something and I realized like, so for me, like I like to drive, like I just need space sometimes. And so I got in the car and I had like, you know, that AC/DC song, Thunderstruck. So I like was playing that song and I was just driving and I realized I just needed to feel it. I just needed to feel it and allow it to pass through me. And it literally was like gone, like about by the time the song was over. But sometimes I feel like, you know, we do, like you said, like the trigger or the button. Sometimes we do have that thing, but I feel like it's even this bounce back quicker thing too, if that makes any sense. Like I just needed to let it pass through and then I go back to my natural state and I don't hang out in it for like a day or two anymore. I just need it for a single AC/DC song. And then, which is like 3 to 5 minutes, you know what I mean? And then you pass through it and then you find your happy neutral and then you're fine. And so I feel like that's actually like a healthy resilience even. You mean not something that we beat ourselves up for, but like I see this, I felt it, I'm done with it, and I'm back at happy neutral or joy or whatever it is. And I feel like that I can see, you know, that chart about, you know, like more of this, more of that. I can see like passing through those emotions like more quickly. And I feel like that too is a success, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Thank you so much, Ashley. That's so good. Yeah, this idea that we can move through or allow the emotions to pass through us and our shifts happen more, you know, more quickly, more naturally, because we are raising our awareness and our awakeness to the power that we have to kind of shift and move through stuff. And also to see that, like Jade said, thank you for that button, that lower vibration, because it's meant to teach us something, right? We can grow from that place. And we don't have to, I think the idea there is that we change better when we're not in a place of deficit. So if we're beating ourselves up for being prideful or angry or fearful or whatever, we're keeping ourselves in that place of deficit when we can just come to like this, I'm at peace with my humanity, like Jade has taught recently, and I'll talk about again in this presentation, and just know, okay, here's where I am and here's where I want to go. So I love that. Just really quickly, so today, I think this idea of peace and enlightenment and these higher vibrations also helps us experience synchronicity. And I really wanted, I watched my grandkids and I really wanted some time to kind of finish up this PowerPoint and just kind of get ready and have some time to just like decompress a little bit. And my daughter calls and she says, I'm coming early. And I was like, what? Like, really? You're coming early? And she says, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Like, to me, that just felt like this synchronicity. And then, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get on at 1/4 till. And I thought I knew my role tonight and was trying to figure things out. And then like buttons started being pushed and I was like, panic, panic, panic. But like you said, Ashley, like this awareness that we can have and allowing things to pass through us helps us move to those higher vibrational states. And I just want you to all know, I'm like so loving being here with you right now and sharing this and experiencing it all together. And I feel so much love. So, okay. So I love this scripture. And this idea of residing in higher vibrations requires us to have vision and in Proverbs 29:18, it tells us, where there is no vision, the people perish. And we really want to live, but we don't want to just live. We want to thrive, and we want to have joy and happiness and peace and just all these high vibration feelings and emotions and experiences. I love this. This is something that I think I've known before, but as I was preparing for this, it just came to me really strongly that as you think, you vibrate. As you vibrate, you attract. It's not about like we experience in life what we are. Okay. So this law of attraction is this: you don't attract to you what you want, like what you're holding out into the future. You attract to you what you are. So if we choose to conjure up the feelings of love and conjure up the feelings of abundance and acceptance and peace and fulfillment and enlightenment, if we can conjure up those feelings, we have the power to do that on some level. We can imagine what it feels like to achieve or be in a particular state. Then we raise our vibration just by doing that. We naturally draw close to people, things, and places that we resonate with, and we naturally kind of distance ourselves from people and things and places that we don't resonate with. I'll just share a little story. So several years ago, my husband and I went camping up north, and we were in an area that was part Indian reservation, and there was a casino there. And I've been in casinos before in Las Vegas and stuff, like walking through or just being there for whatever. And for me, I feel they're a low vibration location, but I never felt repelled by a place like I did this one particular time when my husband and I were up north. Like I said, we went to this particular casino, and I remember walking in, and I felt like I was just going to cry. Like I just could not stay there. Like I think it was a time in my life I had been doing a lot of personal, spiritual, and emotional work, and I felt particularly in alignment. Sorry, this is really tender. Anyway, I just remember walking into this place and immediately feeling like, get out, get out. And I told my husband, I'm like, I'm sorry, but I cannot stay. And I made a beeline to the closest store, and I walked out, and I just stayed in the truck until he was done eating and going to the bathroom or whatever he was doing. Anyway, that is just an example. And I'm sure you all have felt that or had an experience similar to that. But we can be sensitive to that. We can learn to be sensitive to that and to listen and to follow our God-given intuitive powers. And I think we need to be more in tune with that in the time that we live in now and the experiences that we will have in the future. So
Hey, Debbie.
has anyone, yeah, I was going to say, does anyone have any thoughts or comments about
Yeah,
that?
Sierra has her hand up.
Yeah.
Oh, unmute yourself, Sierra.
Sorry. Okay, there we go. I've seen this before. The law of attraction is that you don't attract what you want, but what you are. But then it was elaborated on. It basically said, so be joyful, be, and it had a list of things of what you should be. to attract that. And because we need to remember, if we're agitated or angry or whatever, we're going to attract that from other people too. We're going to attract the drama into our lives. And it's really funny. And all jokes aside, I honestly don't think that my husband was hugged enough as a child, because his way of flirting when we first met and we were dating was to pick at me. And that's what he does. Like when he likes somebody, he like picks at them and jokes about them and stuff like that. And sometimes it can be very like directly kind of hurtful, like, and he doesn't mean for it to be hurtful. It's just his personality. That's what he does. And sometimes, I used to take things personal, like a lot, but now I've kind of let a lot of that go. But now I've adopted a new thing where if he comes in and he's had a long day or something like that, and he does something that he's purposely saying something that is just on the lines of negativity, and it's going to bring us down if I allow it. I'm like, oh, no, this is a happy place tonight. We don't want your unhappiness, or we don't want that here. We're going to be happy. So if you're not going to be happy with us, you need to go to another room. And it's worked sometimes, he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I can see why she said that. But we can kind of put a shield up whenever we're around people who aren't bringing positive vibes, who are trying to bring you the drama. And yes, we need to listen to our friends and stuff when they're having a bad day. You don't even say, I don't want to hear about your bad day. Sometimes, you need to be there for your friends and hear their bad day and whatnot, but make sure that you're ready to bring about a positive outlook on it. So.
Yeah, I think sometimes we just unintentionally kind of get stuck in patterns, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And yeah, if we can, we ourselves, we can't change other people, but we can change ourselves. And I immediately was thinking of like tea tree and oregano, like all these like oils for, protection and boundaries and things like that. And
we can, we can control how we react.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Control how we respond to it. Yeah. So
Ashley, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, because just like you said, like with your husband, like saying that kind of thing. So with that, because I say that kind of thing to my husband, because I was harassing him about complaining. I'm like, wow, do people call you like Mr. Positivity, like joking with him or whatever? And he goes, well, why are you attracting a complaining husband? And I was like, ooh, bounce back. You know what I mean? Like, ouch and burn. You know what I mean? And so I was like, fine, I'm going to attract something else. And so I was like, the whole day, like, wow, Jason, you're so compassionate and so sweet. Oh, wow, you're so positive here. If he was a little bit like grumpy, I would mess with him, like tickling his armpit and be like, oh, you're so silly, like would not receive it. And I'm like, I'm going to have a patient husband. Dag nabbit, you know what I mean? And so like that's one of those things where I was like, ouch, like bounce back, you know what I mean? Like I didn't realize like why did I guess that's what I'm attracting. So well, I'm gonna have to attract something different. And so in doing that, literally that happened like 3 days ago to me. And so I've been trying to really focus on like seeing and creating the positive husband and that sort of thing, and actually it has been successful, so yay for that.
Good job.
Go ahead.
No, I just said good job, Ashley.
Yeah, I was going to say that leads us into this next part of this is the law of attraction, or it encompasses the law of sowing and reaping spoken of in scripture. So what we sow, we reap. So if we anticipate better, that people, we can trust people to show up in whole and healthy ways, and we trust ourselves to show up in whole and healthy ways, then we will receive more of that. We will reap more of that. And And then I had a question, what stories or parables can you think of that teach this law and principle? And I'm sure that all of you can think of many, like the parable of the talents and many other ones. But for the sake of time, I just want to share this one thought that I had. I don't know why I thought this, but I thought about the woman taken in adultery. And how so many people wanted to stone her. And Christ came in, and he obviously can feel her energy. And I just had this thought that she had the energy of repentance and change. And so it was easy for the Savior to feel that and respond to her with the energy of forgiveness. So I just want you to think about these universal laws of sowing and reaping, and think about how you can apply stories or experiences to your life and have it be your teacher. Like, what does it tell you about you in your life, and how we can shift and change into higher vibrations? So I have 12 ways to raise your vibrational frequency, and we're actually going to really just talk about 5 of them, and then I have a slide that references the rest for the sake of time here. So number 1 is gratitude. So this is one of the quickest ways to up your vibration. So I want everyone to stop right now, take a deep breath, look around you, and see and experience 3 things that you're thankful for. And maybe you go inside internally into your heart compass. So just take a second. 3 things that you're thankful for. Deep breath, and just really feel it. Really get into that energy of I'm so grateful. Because it's difficult to feel fear or anger or depression when you are focused on your blessings. And I would recommend using Spikenard Oil. And my first experience using Spikenard was that it smelled like smelly feet. And that oil was one that I began to use often because I needed to up my vibration of gratitude. And I noticed that when I shifted, that the oil was sweeter. It smelled like dark chocolate and berries to me. And that's a beautiful way, a tool to gauge how we are shifting from the inside out, our energetic frequency. Number 2 is love. So call to mind someone or something that is easy to love. This is a super easy way to up your vibration. So maybe you can think of a time in your life when you felt incredibly loved. And this is a great tool when you're feeling down or depressed or abandoned or betrayed or whatever. We want to get that vibration up. And so we can go back and remember and hold that feeling in your heart. You can describe it to yourself. You could write it out in a journal. But conjuring up those feelings, remembering those feelings, connecting to divine love, getting out your essential oil, rose oil, geranium, whatever it is, and applying it to you, and sitting with that emotion of love will help you raise your vibration. And love is one of the highest vibrations. So tune into those loving feelings, and it will fuel your power to pull yourself out of a deep pit of despair and sadness. I'll pause here. Does anyone have any thoughts? Or should we keep going? Okay, I'm going to keep going. Okay, number 3 is generosity. So sometimes we feel greedy or stingy, or we feel like there's not enough for this or that. So we're coming from a place of lack or scarcity, whether it's time or money. Maybe we're not getting the attention that we need, or maybe you're someone, my husband always says, there's no food in the house. And the antidote to this lower vibration of lack or greed or scarcity is to be generous. So maybe we turn around and we give of our time, our talents, our means, our kind words, our service, whatever it is that we can turn outward, whether it's to God, whether it's to other people, we will begin to shift our energy. I have a friend, I think I've told this story before, maybe in a class, but I have a friend who followed the example of her friend. Her friend had cancer. And when she would start feeling down and in despair, she would gather her boys. She had only boys, and they would make cupcakes and go take them to someone. So this other friend, she heard her friend's example, and she remembered it later in her life when her husband had passed away and she had only boys. And when she found herself falling into despair or sadness or whatever, she would follow her friend's example, gather her boys together and bake cupcakes and take them to someone else. And these are the stories that touch me and anchor me and help me understand that we do have the power of choice, the power of agency, to change and shift our vibration. I love this motto, charity never faileth. It's the motto of a worldwide organization of women called the Relief Society, and that from my faith. And it reminds me to have an outward mindset. And it reminds me that as we give and serve according to divine guidance, this is like the higher level of serving, because we could go out and serve lots of people all day, every day, according to our own will. But the better kind of service that we give is when it's divinely guided. And when we do that, we strengthen our connection to divine power. And that fills us with more love. And then we have enough love and generosity and gratitude, enough and more to fill ourselves and share with others. And I would suggest Palmarosa and Wild Orange for that. Any thoughts there?
I think when you give, Debbie,
Yeah.
give because you have faith that it flows, things flow, and then there's more, there's enough and to spare for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, thank you for that. Okay, number 4, meditation and breath work. Some of us, I mean, I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes I just need to pause and take a deep breath. It's just a way to recenter. Dr. Hawkins, you probably all are familiar with his name, based his research on the idea that if something is truer, the level of consciousness or vibration is higher. So when you can train yourself to be present with the moment that you are in right now, you resonate in harmony with truth. The past and the future are only in our mind. They're experiences that we can't really go back and change. The future is an idea that hasn't happened yet. We can put try and put ourselves in the energy of the things that we desire and want. But if you can conjure up those feelings, like I said before, that you want to have about a particular blessing, accomplishment, or attainment, imagine how much more in alignment with that thing that you will be. So this is why visualization, meditation, and breath work can be so powerful. I know all of us are, you know, most of us that are in this community already, we talk about this a lot. And I know that most of us are working on this. We're growing in this ability to visualize and meditate on the outcomes that we imagine for ourselves and the communities that we're creating. And then number 5 is forgiveness.
Oh, Debbie.
And I added, yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I was just gonna add that once you are used to that energy or that feeling of stillness, you want it more and more. So I feel like over the last few years, my home and my life has been quieter. And I feel like it feels like I'm hiding, but it's like I'm taking more space. And then when I reach out, I have more capacity to love, but then I take my space again. So it just feels like that's because you're so excited for, not excited, but just feel elevated. So it reminds me of the prophets and whatever in the Bible where they go up to the mountain and they spend 40 days away from everyone and everything. And it just feels like you need that, because you know that divine download is so clear and so abundant that you're like, shh, everyone, let me listen. You know, it feels like that a lot. Yeah. Sierra, you want to share something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, 10 years ago, we moved here to Fort Walton Beach 11 years ago. 10 years ago, I opened my gym here in Fort Walton Beach, and of course, with opening a new business and all the parents and the athletes, and everything, I was working crazy amounts of hours. I was go constantly, and I was overly stimulated, overwhelmed, over everything. And I was just overstressed. And someone mentioned that I may benefit from going to, they were like, have you ever done yoga or meditation? And I'm like, actually, no. I think the stillest I've ever been is when I'm in church and I close my eyes to pray. Like, that's it. And they said, you know, I highly recommend you should go to a yoga class. You really should. So I went to a yoga class for the very first time 10 years ago. And it was so weird. It's not like normal yoga, I guess, but and I was thinking, is this the way it always is? Because we were like putting sandbags under our hips and back and head and arms and moving them around and all this kind of stuff. And but anyway, at the end, she said if we were okay with it, she would put a drop of oil in our hands and we would just inhale it and then just relax and listen to her words. Before she even started talking, I just like inhaled and then relaxed and everything. I had this crazy emotional meltdown, like total like release. And I'm crying so much that literally tears are filling up my ears. And I'm like, why am I crying? But of course, everybody's quiet. So I don't want to ask them, why am I crying? It was the weirdest experience for me to just have this emotional letdown. And then she started talking and it just melted me more. So there really is something said to be said about how powerful stillness can be. And I don't have like those crazy emotional, you know, releases anymore. But I tell you what, when I get quiet, I'm in that mode of either just being quiet or meditating or whatnot, that is when I personally feel like I am prepared to hear the spirit more than any other time. So it's actually like Jade said, once you've experienced it, you want it more and more in your life, because having that feeling of the spirit in your life and being a motivational portion of your daily life is just a really beautiful thing to feel. And of course, I want that more and more. So anyway, but thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you, Sierra. So powerful. Yeah, I think the purpose of that meditation and breath work is to center, ground us, and connect us to the divine. And we, I think you're right. There's such power in being still and also creating a space. It's like an evolution. I think I see that with Jade's life, and I see that with my life. There was a time, it's not right now, but for the last couple of years, I could take easily 2 to 3 hours a day, starting early in the morning, to do my own devotions and to be quiet and to meditate and pray and read and, you know, journal. And I think when we do that, we end up craving it because we feel so filled. And then I remember always, I feel so much more energized when I take that time to do that and fill myself. Thank you so much, you guys. Okay, number 5 is forgiveness and repentance. So remember, this is about raising our vibration. So blame and justification reside in the low energy vibration range. And this can be towards ourselves or others. The weight of blame is like carrying a bowling ball around unnecessarily. You know, it's like that backpack filled with stuff that we need to unpack and let go of. And when we're in that state, our heart isn't open and free to receive. And we can make profound shifts in our energy just by making peace with our own humanity and that of others. And one thing, a really profound lesson for me in my life was that other people have as much access to the atonement of Christ as I do. And that helped me understand that, like, other people are going to make mistakes, and so am I. And it just helped me have more compassion for other people and be more accepting of my humanity and theirs. And it means that we allow for mistakes, and we understand that the atonement covers all. It covers sin, error, sickness, pain, all of the above, which are really just imbalances of our state of being. And for repentance and forgiveness, we can use thyme oil along with others. Okay, that was number 5. I do want to share this. This was beautiful. This is they call this poem the most epic poem that was ever been written. And I don't know how to say this, Mahabharata. And it's an Indian poem. And this is just one little excerpt from it. And it says, "One should forgive under any injury. It has been said that the continuation of the species is due to man's being forgiving. Forgiveness is holiness. By forgiveness, the universe is held together. Forgiveness is the might of the mighty. Forgiveness is sacrifice. Forgiveness is quiet of mind. Forgiveness and gentleness are the qualities of the self-possessed. They represent eternal virtue." And I love that idea of being self-possessed, understanding who we are as children of God and understanding the power that we have as we partner with God and with Christ and with our divine intuition. This power of forgiveness is massive, and it's freeing and liberating. And I know I have felt it, and it's come in one particular situation that happened in my life as a child. It's been an evolution of forgiveness. I feel like I've gone through like 4 different states of forgiveness for this one particular thing and person in my life. And I feel a literal change within me every single time I pass through another level of forgiveness. And I know that other people have experienced that too. And we just feel lighter, brighter, we feel more outwardly focused, and we feel more compassion towards people. Okay, so here's 6 through 12. So I'm just going to run through these quickly. So we have eat high vibe food. So food closest to their natural state, this is considered living food. So why is that better than dead food? Well, obviously because it's living, right? And it works. It's more identified and processed by the body, and more received more fully. Like nutrient dense food is received more fully in our bodies when we are resonating in high vibrations. So lifelong vitality, doTERRA greens and proteins products. Okay, number 7, reduce or eliminate alcohol and toxins from your body. I mean, this is so important. Cleanse your body, because healthy cells, healthy tissues, healthy organs. And that means that our body systems work more effectively. And when I think about this, I think about like, how hard do I want to make my body work, right? If my goal is ease and flow, what am I doing to make my body work so much harder? Fortunately, we have products and tools to help us cleanse. And obviously water is a really good one. And I love doTERRA's endocrine products, celery seed and citrus oils to help cleanse. And then think positive thoughts, number 8. I love the book, As a Man Thinketh, So Is He, or As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. It's scriptural based, and I read it probably at least once or twice a year. And it teaches us about, the things that we think, we become. So I love the idea or the tool of finding it and flipping it, because we all have negative thoughts from time to time. So we figure out the false belief or negative vibrating thought, and we can flip it to the positive. We can release false beliefs or traditions and reframe them to truth, or find the lesson, the perfection in imperfection that it has provided for us. Because our perspective is a powerful influence on our beliefs, thoughts, words, and those things are our creation power. So we can use citronella, lemon eucalyptus, melissa, and all citrus oils. And I'm sure there's tons that you guys are thinking of too. So when you're sharing this information, you can plug your suggestions in too. Consume high vibe media. So books, music, TV, movies. Honestly, I don't watch very much TV. And I love scripture and other high vibe books and articles and things like that. Podcasts. But I have this quote that sits in my bathroom, and it says, remember, what you do, where you go, and what you see will shape who you become. Who do you want to become? And that's by one of our religious leaders, Gary E. Stevenson. And then I have this question for you. Is social media high or low vibe? Because I know lots of people who've really just shut down social media. They're not on it at all. And I have a little bit of a pit in my stomach about that. I mean, I'm not here to like judge anyone, but I think for me, it's all about how you use it.
Yeah, I think it's what you allow yourself to look at, be interested in, and what you allow yourself to post. I have a friend who constantly, once a week, she posts pictures of a new temple every week. Like, and I now find myself looking, for her, like, oh, I wonder what temple she's going to post this week. So that, I mean, that's like what she does every week. So it really depends on, your circle of friends and what kind of people that you allow in that circle, and the type of person that they are will be the type of person or type information that they post on their page. So
we can influence the algorithm.
Yes.
Also what your thumb paws on, it'll like trigger, right? What you X out. I just unfollow things or just X out something that I'm like, oh, I don't like that, and then the people that I do follow, you follow intentionally, and they'll show you more of the stuff that you want to see. So you take advantage of it and it'll become enjoyable for you. Purpose of it for me is to connect to people and share my light and influence. So, when you have that clear intention, it's not like stressful or anything. I never look at people and go, oh, I wish I was like that, or, comparing or something. I don't. I'm just happy for people, and, that's great.
Yeah.
And it's okay to unfollow someone too, if they're, if they friended you and, you allowed them to friend you or whatever, and you just notice that their posts are just always negative and always inappropriate, it's okay to unfollow them.
Yeah. So whatever you click on and whatever you share, that's what's going to come back to you, right? That's the law that we're talking about. So raise your vibration, click on the things that will uplift and edify and create community and togetherness for good. So, okay, number 10, surround yourself with beauty. So in your own environments, create an environment that uplifts, the clean, orderly, beautiful surroundings in your home, your work, your outdoor spaces that invite us to feel love, peace, connection, stability, and joy. So these kind of energies, I was thinking, why? Like, why is that important? Why is it important to have clean and orderly and beautiful surroundings? And I think it makes it easy for energy to flow freely. When I was a design consultant for a window treatment company, I had a particular client who was she's the owner of a public relations company in Scottsdale. And when I went into her home, everything is clean and white and bright. And she really doesn't have any art or anything on her walls. And I kept thinking about that. And as we created a relationship, I realized when she came home, it was her place to not only decompress, but she's so creative outside of her home that her home was a place of like a blank canvas for her, where she could like brainstorm and create without distraction. And it was such a beautiful place and calming place. And that's the reason why she had it like that. I was like, I told her, I said, you have your place empty because it's a place of creation. And then you go out into the world and put into the world, the good, the light, the truth that you want to share. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, number 11, go for a walk, be in nature and use your essential oils. So exercise, get out in the sun, enjoy nature's bounties. They all help us connect to Mother Earth. And as we engage in these practices, we begin to feel more gratitude, and we actually show appreciation for our bodies and all the divine gifts of God. If we just stay cooped up in a room all day long, we're not going to see the beauty of the earth and the world. So when we go out, at least for me, when I get out in nature, I love the mountains, I love the beach, I love all of them. It's hard for me to choose between the two. But especially when I use essential oils too, that was one of the things that I felt immediately, is that I felt Heavenly Father's loving care for me. And I felt filled with his love when I use essential oils, when I'm out in nature, when I'm enjoying just, being in the sun and just being outdoors. So again, love is one of the highest vibrations. So we can use myrrh, to connect to Mother Earth. Grapefruit is honoring our body, and patchouli is being in touch with ourselves, like centering ourselves, and really important for the central nervous system to be sensitive to feeling things. And then number 12, engage in high vibe relationships. And that's what we're doing here. We surround ourselves with people who lift, edify, and who also want to resonate at high frequencies. Like our friends are our cheerleaders, and we're building a community. And we can use Cedarwood, Midnight Forest, Holiday Joy, Holiday Peace, and many others, I'm sure. But we just want to invite more people to be with us. And so here are essential oils for the emotional frequencies, the high vibration ones. So enlightenment. If you want to just take a picture of this slide, I don't need to go through all of these, but you all can add to the list for each of these. So enlightenment, peace, joy, love, reason, and acceptance. We have oils that can go with each of these emotional resonances. And that's something that struck me today. I was like, oh my goodness, yes, if I want to feel joy, you know, it was just like witness to me again today. Like I can go get my tangerine and my peppermint and put it in my diffuser and read about it. And yeah, and just doing that activity, you know, involving all of the senses and having the intention of feeling joy and experiencing joy will invite more joy. And lastly, we want to invite you to our community. And Jade, I don't know if you wanted to talk about this a little bit since we're at the end.
Yeah, thank you, Debbie.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. There's so many thoughts that everybody probably has that you want to like share, but you know, because of time, we can share later on. If you want to comment below in this video when I post it, that'd be awesome, because then we can start, you know, a conversation for people, because there's lots of stories I know that you guys have that's very, very valuable. So guys, you know, this is something that is very near and dear to our hearts, all of us here. They all, you know, many people who participated in the creation of this course. And we feel strongly that, you know, when you learn the skills that you learn from the Energy Balancing with Faith course, you'll be able to, like these ladies said, kind of switch from, you know, feeling that trigger, finding that button, to like, oh, okay, here's how I resolve it. Here's how I cancel that. And then find the peace again. And as you elevate your energy, you'll find that you like that energy, that high new energy vibration a lot more, and you want to live there. So I invite you to join us there. For those people who are new and your friend had invited you to this call, or hang on, I just need somebody to mute. Yeah, there. So please just reach out and talk to that friend about having a wholesale account so you can buy the oils and start raising your vibration. Talk to them about energy balancing with faith. I'm sure that they'll be happy to do a session on you. It's very valuable, and you know, something that, you know, not everyone has the opportunity to experience. So, you know, very fortunate to find a friend that knows how to do energy balancing. So yeah. We have retreats that's coming up. So we have plenty of retreats. So Debbie, you know, put those there. Thank you so much for that. Debbie and Ashley are trainers, and they're going to be posting. So if you want to follow them, posting their retreats as well. So, and there's going to be more people that are, you know, upcoming trainers as well. We've got a few people interested. So our community is just barely starting, guys. But we've got hundreds of people that are involved, and we want to spread this throughout the world. Yeah.
This is so good. I love energy balancing with faith, because it is a tool, a modality that includes a lot of those 12 things that we listed out and talked about, it kind of encompasses all of those things. And it's probably one of the most profound ways to raise our vibration. And really quickly, if I can just end, I didn't know that I was going to share this, but over the last couple months, I use the iToby scan and do sessions with myself to help me progress and raise my vibration. And over the last few months, deep blue polyphenol keeps showing up on my scanner. And I've worked through it and I've worked through it and I've worked through it. And it kept showing up, and it showed up this week as well. And I decided this morning to sit down and work through that. And I could feel, prior to this, I could feel my body. I could feel the inflammation in my body. I could feel, achy or joints or stiffness. I started feeling those things. And because I've used the oils and I've been doing this work, I feel like I'm coming into more attunement with my body, like all my body and spirit coming into more alignment, which makes me more sensitive to shifts and changes in my body. And so I was wondering, like, what is this about? This deep blue polyphenol came up for me today. And what I'm realizing is that, or what happened today, was some pretty profound generational healing for a great grandfather and his oldest son, both who committed suicide. And that might be a pretty heavy topic, but it felt, I could see the correlation with what I was feeling in my body and not recognizing for sure exactly where it was coming from. And this generational burden of pain and, some kind of negative things. But I just want to tell you, as I worked through this particular thing this morning, I think I felt the shift in the cells, like every cell of my body changing and shifting and healing. Because it was interesting. I received personal insight, or like a question that I needed to ask. And so I texted my mom, and I didn't know how these people had died, but that was the question that came, was like, how did they die? How did he die? And that is how we can become more intuitive, how we can raise our vibration and become more sensitive to the healing that is needed around us, for generations past and for those that we encounter here around us. And I have a special place in my heart for energy balancing with faith and the profound difference it's made in my life and for those that I'm able to serve through this work. And so I just invite other people, read the books, take the course, attend the retreats, and join our community, because you will come here and you'll feel uplifted and loved. And I know that every Tuesday night, my vibration is up high after meeting with all of you. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight and joining us and practicing all of these ways to raise our vibration and experience more joy and peace and enlightenment.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Debbie. We love you. Can everybody unmute and thank Debbie for this lovely presentation?
That's so good, Debbie. It was so awesome.
It was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Debbie.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.